Hi everybody, this is Crystal from Head to Toe. Today I'm making two batches of soap. The first one that I'm going to do is going to be a lavender essential oil soap. The second batch that I'm going to do is witch's brew, which is a combination of lavender and citrus essential oils. So as you can see, I have my oils all mixed up and ready to go. I'm just about to add my lye solution here. So I'm going to go ahead and slowly pour that in. I have my stick blender here. So what I do is I slowly add my lye solution into the mixed oils. The oils that I'm using today are a combination of olive oil, coconut oil, palm oil, castor oil. I've also added some cocoa butter and some shea butter to this mixture. This is my first video from Head to Toe, so probably have to go through some hiccups here, I'm sure. Set my lye solution to the side, and I'm just going to stir this here. I'm also going to burp my stick blender just to get some more of the air bubbles out. I like to just stir this without turning the blender on first for a bit, just to make sure everything gets incorporated with the lye solution. This tends to trace fairly quickly the mixture that I tend to use for the majority of my recipes. You can see the color changes when I turn the stick blender on. Because I'm separating this batch into two different batches, I only want to bring my solution here to what's called emulsification, which means just that the oils in the lye solution are mixed together. I don't want it traced really, just because I want time to work with the second batch. I think that's just about gonna do it. You can see I'm wearing gloves because the lye is very caustic and it burns very easily. You want to protect your hands while you're making soap. Okay, I think that's going to be good enough. Stick my stick blender here off to the side. I'll probably end up using that again. I'm just going to pause the video now while I separate my batch. Okay, I've separated the two batches out, and I've also done another separation. You can see the measuring cup right here. I'm going to add my ultramarine to this, which is a purple. Ultramarines are synthetically produced in labs, but it is a cosmetic grade colorant. So I'm just going to add some of this because I think what I'm going to do for the lavender soap here is do a swirl. So I'm just going to mix that purple ultramarine into some of the soap that I've transferred out. Get that nice and mixed. Okay, so you can see that that's fairly purple, a nice lavender purple. So the soap is still pretty thin, which is what I'm wanting. Now I'm going to go ahead and put my lavender essential oil into the mixture. I want to make sure that this is well incorporated. Sometimes when you're making soap, if you don't mix it well enough, you'll get pockets of the essential oil in the soap, which you don't really want. I'm also going to add a little bit to my colorant here, and I'll mix that in a minute. Still pretty loose, so I'm going to go ahead and mix in my essential oil here to the ultramarine color. I'm also going to take my stick blender again and just give this a quick little mix. Yeah, it's at a light to medium trace here, so I think that's good enough. Now I'm just going to give the color just a buzz, because there's some little lumps in there from the ultramarine. I'm okay with the lumps, but it looks better without them. Alright. Sorry for the noise. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do in the pot swirl, that's technically what it's called, even though we're using a bucket. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pour it in different spots. I want to leave a little bit of color left over too, so that I can do something nice on the top. You don't need that much color, just a little bit. That should be good enough. Alright, then I take my spatula and I want to go in and do a round once, then the middle, and I just want to take it out. That's good enough. So I'm just going to pause it right now and get my molds ready, and then I'll come back and show you putting it in the mold. Okay, we're back and ready to pour in the mold. So I have my mixture that we just did. And I'm just going to start from one side, and because I'm doing 2 molds, I just want to do halfway for right now, just because a lot of the natural colorant of the soap is the last to come out, so I want to make sure it's kind of a little bit even. And I'm also going to tap the molds here halfway through just to help release some of the air bubbles. Okay, and now with the other half. I'm going to take my spatula here and just get the leftover soap. I don't like to waste any soap. I like to try and get as much out as I can. And a little trick, if you are a soap maker and you don't do this already, I find it really helps to leave your containers overnight so that it gets hard, and I find it much easier to clean out your containers then instead of doing it right away. Alright, so I did a pretty good job of cleaning this out for the most part. I'm just going to put my spatula in the container. Wipe my hands here. Now, lavender essential oil is a great oil and has many health benefits, including relieving tension, headaches, anxiety, depression, and even helps to induce sleep. I love lavender essential oil. I use it quite a bit for soap making. And what surprises me even is it's quite popular with men. Okay, so here's the leftover soap that I did save. I'm just going to mix it up a little bit because when it sits it tends to thicken up a bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drizzle this on the top. Probably kept out a little bit too much, but that's okay. Again, if I have leftover soap that I don't want to use in the batch that I'm making, I'll just grab a little mold and put it in a little mold and just have that as another soap. Okay, so then what I do is I'm going to do some swirl design. I'll do two different ones. I'm just going to do just curly cues here on this one. Okay. And on this one, I think I'll just do that. Depends on your mood, on what you want to do. Alright, and that is the lavender soap. Stay tuned for the next video on the witch's brew soap, which I'll be making next.